Welcome back to another City-States Medieval development update video. As mentioned before, we are currently covering new and improved parts of the game, which we teased in our Advent event last month. Today, we're going to be taking a look at squad abilities. A lot of these were designed around the feedback we received from the community when it comes to PvP and City-States, and personally, I'm really excited to be sharing these, as I think you CSM PvP fans who love combat will love it even more with these new changes in place. These abilities in City-States not only give squads a unique identity, but also serves to make battles more interesting and less predictable. All squads now have both a passive and active ability. To start with, let's discuss knights, which till now I've always referred to as melee, but this is the correct term, so I'm going to try to use it going forward. Since the first implementation of knights, both the community testers and team quickly identified some key issues with this squad. It's meant to serve as a tank, but becomes threatless after taking a couple of hits due to their low damage output. They can't get to the front lines quick enough to tank due to their low speed stats, so they often lag behind. To resolve these issues, we've really focused the knight squad abilities around what their core identity should be, an immovable wall that just refuses to be knocked down. We previously implemented a change where knight squads had increased efficacy of their shields, and this change has become the foundation of their new passive ability, Vanguard. This change means knights will take more damage to their shield and less to their health compared to other squads. Having more health throughout the battle will result in higher sustained damage output, meaning that they cannot simply be ignored. We've also added a change where knights will always move first when the battle starts. This change should allow players to get them closer to the front lines and have them serve their purpose better. We further increased their survivability by giving them the active ability Battle Hardened. Battle Hardened recharges by spending 7 action points, which should work out as every 2 turns. Once used, the ability restores a percentage of lost armor. Thematically, we feel like these changes are perfect for a tank-type unit, giving them both mitigation and sustain, while allowing them to gain more value the longer the battle lasts. Dual Wielders are another squad to which we made some changes to a while back and have decided to keep. Their passive, Lethal Intent, gives Dual Wielders +1 to maximum action points, as well as starting the battle with an additional action point. Originally, this change was actually a temporary band-aid solution to bring them up to par with others during testing, but it was so well received by everyone and has become such a core element of the dual-wield identity, so we've worked it in as their passive. For their active ability, we've given them Crippling Strike. Crippling Strike charges by killing 5 enemy units with a dual-wield squad. And to be clear, that's units, not squads, meaning that this will charge much faster when attacking squads of squishy ranged units, rather than our new and improved aforementioned knights. Once activated, Crippling Strike empowers the squad's next attack, leaving the defending squad with only 3 action points for their next turn. While we could have gone down a more typical damage buff route, we felt that this active opened up more play options to the dual wield. Their playstyle is now in line with their core identity, deadly assassins and saboteurs that, if left unchecked, can bring your army to its knees. Ranged squads have been notoriously strong since the beginning of testing, and while we want them to be used, we didn't want to make them much stronger than they already are. A while back, we implemented a change where ranged units could not be retaliated against when attacking unless defending squad is also ranged. This has been implemented as a core mechanic and will now be their passive, known as Cheap Shot. We've also given them the active Precise Shot. Precise Shot is fully charged when a ranged squad skips a turn without spending any action points. Once activated, it grants +1 to range for the next attack. If the ranged squad attacks another ranged squad who does not have Precise Shot charged, the defending squad will not be able to counterattack. While this active is potentially very strong, we've tried to make it so a large portion of its power is against other ranged units, more so than non-ranged, in order to avoid creating a situation where they're too strong. And finally, the two-handers. So I think out of the 4 squads currently in CSM, two-handers were perhaps the least worked on and had no changes made to them. As a result, they saw little competitive play in our last tournament. Let's change that. We really wanted two-handers to be terrifying attackers that can move up to the front line and unleash hell on your enemies. The problem with them was that by the time they made it to the front line, they had suffered and their damage output was disappointing due to this. Their new passive Flesh Wound reduces their attack penalty from being damaged by half. This means that if a two-hander squad hits for 100 when on full health but was damaged to half health, they would typically only deal 50 damage. But now, a squad on half health will still fight as if they had 75%, in this instance dealing 75 damage. For their active ability, we've given them the ability Berserk. Berserk requires 3 charges to activate. These charges are gained when hitting an enemy. Once activated, the squad receives a massive plus 25% to crit chance, and will remain in this state until they have a turn in which they don't attack. This should be great fun to play around, as players will most likely probably want to kite berserked two-handers until their active wears off. With these changes, two-handers should be very dangerous, and even late into a battle while injured are still capable of dealing big damage hits to unsuspecting foes. All in all, that concludes our look at squad abilities. As always, we'd love to hear your feedback, best given on Discord, which is our most active social platform. For the link to join, and for all of our other socials, please check the links in the description below. Thank you very much. Take care.